Hey guys, Zero here with...
What name should I use?
What's the name you usually use?
I use both of them. Either Koshi or DREAMSHOGUN, because he uses both.
AKA Quarry.
Or that.
We just saw Jurassic Park 3D, and this will be like a little, like my usual vlog things. And I'm not going to review the movie, because it's a 20-year-old movie. I'm pretty sure everybody who's wanted to see it's seen it. So, but this is my first time watching it in like over a year and a half, I think. You haven't seen it.
And I couldn't tell you the last time I saw it. He remembered some vocal parts, I didn't.
So, yeah, well, I remember lines and stuff. Anyways, it was great to see, first of all, it was great to see the movie on the big screen, because I hadn't done that yet. I think I was 5 when the movie came out, so 5 or 6. I was 5 or 6. It was 93, so I wouldn't have been allowed to go see it. But I saw it when it was on cable, because my dad taped it when he's a VHS nut. He tapes everything off of TV in standard long play because he has to get the full thing out of the tape. Anyways, for years that's the only way I'd see the movie, and I watched The Lost World because my aunt had it, and we bought
the third
one on VHS, and then eventually I got the box set for DVD, and they have Blu-ray sets out now. Also, one more thing, they're announcing a new movie, even though Michael Crichton and Stan Winston are dead. So there's 2 major people who helped making those 3 movies. Well, not so much the third one with Michael Crichton. They're gone, so I don't know what they're going to do with it. Maybe they'll bring Alan Grant back and stuff. But anyways, let's talk about this. Now, I'm mostly going to be talking about the 3D. Because there's 2 reasons I want to see this movie. One, so I could see Jurassic Park in the theater. And it's a lot better in the theater, in my opinion.
And 2, to test out the 3D. And
to test out
how it performed.
A 20-year-old movie would perform with 3D. Here's the problem with 3D like that. If the movie isn't made to have things coming at you or away from you directly all the time, it's not very good use for 3D. I found, I've only seen 2 movies 3D in the cinema. I said The Hobbit and now this. But I find it's most effective when something is coming at you. If it's not coming at you, it's not quite as effective. Like, one scene that I thought was going to be really, really cool, but it didn't end up, it was so short that it didn't end up mattering, was the very end of the movie when the T-Rex is right in frame and he just chomps the raptor. I thought that was, I can't wait to see that. That's going to be cool. But it's so quick, I didn't even have time to go.
Couldn't process it properly.
I was like, well, that was a thing.
For the most part, you're getting foliage thrown at you in your face.
Oh, most of the 3D is foliage.
Most of the movie, yeah.
The problem is because this wasn't shot in 3D or shot with 3D in mind, a lot of the perspectives are based on just watching it as a flat film. And anytime there's a jump scare, it's just, it doesn't matter, it comes from the sides is a thing. I didn't notice this till I started watching it in 3D, but all the jumps are from the sides. Mm-hmm. When the raptor comes through to get the guy before he says, "Clever girl," that looked really cool. And when the raptor jumped at the screen to grab the girl near the end, when she was falling through the ceiling tile, that looked cool. Those shots are cool, the ones that are going at, but a lot of
this wasn't enough of them.
Again, most of the 3D was foliage. So, trees, twigs, bushes.
In a way, it would be, viewer beware, it's up to you. If you haven't seen it yet. If you kind of want this as an advanced warning, if you feel you might be disappointed.
It's hard to recommend to people. I can only recommend it to... I'm a hardcore fan of the Jurassic Park movie series. So I went because I like Jurassic Park. But if you're not a fan of the series, I really can't justify you going to see this in 3D. Because the 3D doesn't really do anything for you. It's... Again, I'm speaking of perspective as somebody who's only seen 2 3D movies. One that was shot for 3D, the other one which is, again, a 20-year-old movie that was never intended to be in 3D. But it doesn't add anything, I find. Like, it's cool, but it doesn't really add anything. It's like playing a 3DS game where they don't care about the 3D, they're just adding it on because it's the 3DS.
Because you have to.
Because they have to. there's I'm not talking like there's games like Ocarina of Time 3D and Star Fox 64 3D. Those make good use of the 3DS's capabilities. But then you get games like, what's a good example? Shinobi 3DS. It's a side-scrolling action game. There's no point to have the 3D, but it's there. That's what it is. It's just there. That's what the 3D is in this movie. If you've never seen Jurassic Park in the cinema, I say maybe check it out, but it's hard to recommend unless you're either a huge fan of Jurassic Park or you have to see a movie in 3D. But honestly, it's not really that impressive. And
keep in mind, it doesn't take away from the film. It's not a deterrent in any way.
No.
It's just not... It's not going to blow your mind.
One thing I did notice is how different the depth was in a lot of stuff. I did this in The Hobbit as well. I was constantly moving my glasses off to see what the picture looked like, because I'm a nerd like that I like to see how the process of how it was done. So I kept going like this, just to see, the scene plays out like that. Because sometimes it'll just be like slightly, and then sometimes it'll be like, whew, to get a different effect. So, especially if you have problems with 3D, most of the shots you won't have trouble focusing on, but some of them, the ones that are really out there with the wide angles, or the wide depth, you're gonna have problems with because they're way out there. It's like, whew. So, but to keep this short and sweet, because my vlogs usually aren't, Jurassic Park's a great film. I don't recommend you seeing it in 3D unless you like Jurassic Park as at least as much as I do. What about you, Corey? What do you have to say?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
If you rate it, say, an 8 or above, yeah, you probably would still enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're more of a, I didn't mind it back in the day, I would maybe put your money towards another movie.
Yeah. There's just something I want to say before I end this off. From now on, when they re-release these movies as 3D, I'm going to look at the ones that would really benefit from having the 3D, not just because, ooh, it's in 3D now. Because if it doesn't do it for you, then it feels like a waste of your time. This was not a waste of my time for me because I want to see it on the big screen, but the 3D just felt like an afterthought thing. So, definitely if anybody's wary of going to see old movies made in 3D, if you know the movie and it's got a lot of stuff that you think would look cool in 3D, then go for it. But this movie was one of those things where I'm like, oh, this could be really cool, but it wasn't, the 3D didn't really add anything. So, well, that's it. We're tired. We're going to play some Monster Hunter. See you later.
See you later, guys.